I will get started. My name is Simcha Karitsky. I'm the editor and treasurer for the Maryland State Numismatic Association. And my topic is Numismatic Polygons. So if you're looking for an inexpensive and fun specialty, or just want to spice up your collection with some interesting coins, you can look at numismatic polygons. While Americans tend to think of coins as round pieces of metal, many countries have issued polygonal coins. There are 17 regular shapes, all available as circulating coinage or base metal commemoratives that are easy on the pocketbook. In ancient times, the roundness of coins was due to the tendency of hot metal to flow equally in all directions. The Chinese cast coins for 2 millennia, which were filed down by hand while rotating the coins on a spindle, which also required a circular shape. The only polygon shape used since ancient times is the square. The earliest square coins were issued by the Bactrian Empire in what is now Afghanistan about 170 BCE. Square coins have been issued almost continuously in South Asia since then. The first truly round coins were made in 1794 by the British firm of Bolton and Watt, whose steam-powered coin presses stamped coins under intense pressure and had to use a collar to prevent the coin from spreading out. The collar could be used to make the coins any desired shape, but Europeans were used to round coins. During the 19th century, tokens were often issued on polygonal planchets, possibly to distinguish them from coins and avoid charges of counterfeiting. Traditionally, silver and gold coins circulated by weight, and some countries didn't even place denominations on their coins. After nickel alloy coins were introduced in the 1850s, there was a potential for confusion with silver pieces. Some countries chose to issue the new nickel alloy coins in shapes other than round to better distinguish them. So we see here, well, there's a nickel 3-cent piece, very similar to a dime, but of a very different design. And then we have gold tokens that were issued by private companies and even a U.S. assay office, and they used an octagonal design to make them distinct. So first, some definition of what is a polygon. The basic shapes of geometry are lines, circles, and polygons. A polygon is a closed figure composed exclusively of lines that intersect two other sides only at their common endpoint. Regular polygons have all sides and angles congruent or equal. While some coin planchets are perfect polygons, most have rounded corners to protect hands and pockets. As vending machines have become more common, countries have produced coins with arcs instead of straight lines, or enlarged the rounded corners until they are longer than the sides. These make the coins roll like round coins, but one can still identify them by touch. So following is a description of 1 or 2 polygonal coins for each shape. So we start with the trigon, or the triangle. It's considered one of the basic geometric shapes, but is very rare in numismatics. The first triangular coin, and the only circulating one, is the Cook Islands $2. The Cook Islands are part of the British Commonwealth and a dependency of New Zealand, whose coins are also current there. The Cook Islands introduced their own coinage in 1972, using the same sizes as their New Zealand counterparts. In 1987, the Cook Islands introduced a smaller dollar and also a triangular $2 coin, which portray a bottle resting in the center of a 3-legged table. While square coins have been used in India since ancient times, the British rulers didn't introduce them until the end of World War I. A silver shortage prompted the British Raj to replace the silver 2 annas with a square copper nickel 2 annas in 1918. The square coin continued to be issued only in copper nickel until 1955, after independence. One of the most unusual polygonal coinages was issued in Yemen after World War II. At a time when most countries were retiring their steam coin presses for electric ones, the Yemenites were still striking coins by hand. In 1367 Anno Hijra, which is late 1947 of the Common Era, the Mutawakkilite kingdom introduced pentagonal silver 1/16 and 1/8 real coins. This coin series ended shortly before modern coining equipment was introduced there in 1963. These are one of the very few modern circulating silver polygonal coins. During World War II, the Belgian government in exile commissioned the Philadelphia Mint to produce a hexagonal brass 2-franc coin for Belgian Congo. Dated 1943, it was soon supplanted by round 1, 5, and 50-franc coins from other mints, all portraying an elephant walking to the left. This first ever hexagonal coin was replaced with a round coin in brass in 1946. Although the next year Egypt issued a silver 2 piaster that was hexagonal. When the British went decimal in 1971, they retained the size and composition of the 5 and 10 new pence coins, which are based on the value of the silver shilling in 1816. As a concession to inflation, the 50 new pence was introduced in 1969. Only a little larger than the 10 new pence, the British produced it with 7 sides, the first ever use of heptagonal planchets. A companion 7-sided 20 pence coin was introduced in 1982, and the 50p was reduced in size in 1997. Because the British Royal Mint developed the heptagonal coin is also used by many Commonwealth nations and other clients of the British Royal Mint. Octagons are relatively popular for coinage, probably because they are truncated square. The United States issued gold $50 heptagonal coins, first in 1851 to 52 at the San Francisco Assay Office, and then in 1915 to commemorate the Panama Pacific Exposition in that same city. The first nickel alloy heptagonal coin was minted for Egypt. The British made Egypt a protectorate in 1914 and introduced a decimal coinage in 1916 with 10 milliems to a piaster. In 1933, Egypt issued an octagonal 2.5 milliems, but these were replaced with a round 2 milliems in 1938. The only 9-sided coins currently issued are silver commemorative 5 euros from Austria. And actually, I think they've been switched to bronze recently. Despite the high denomination and precious metal content, many of these coins were issued at face value through the banks. Austria chose a 9-sided coin to honor its 9 provinces, those left to it after the Austro-Hungarian Empire was dismantled in 1919. The coats of arms of these provinces appear on the reverse. The commemorative 2002, shown here, honors one of Europe's earliest public zoos. The first 10-sided coin was the 1959 Iraq bronze fils. It was followed in 1967 by the Colombian peso. Until then, the highest circulating coin was a copper nickel 50 centavos. The peso had 10 sides to distinguish it from the 50 centavos, which is very similar in size and design. In 1970, the 50 centavos was reduced significantly in size, and a round peso with a different design was introduced in 1974. "11-sided coins are a newcomer to the world scene. The United States Mint proposed a 26.5 millimeter dollar in brass on an 11-sided planchet in 1977. Congress overrode the original plans and used only a hendecagonal border on the Anthony dollar of 79 to 99. Canada's first dollar was issued in 1935. When the price of silver rose above the face value of Canada's coins, the Royal Canadian Mint substituted pure nickel and shrank the diameter of the dollar. However, the dollar was still too large, so in 1987, Canada issued a new dollar based on the U.S. Mint's original design, a brass-coated nickel 26.5 millimeter hendecagonal planchet. The first 11-sided coin, called the loonie after the bird on the reverse, widely circulates and has also been issued with commemorative designs. And this is one of the commemorative designs here for their 125th anniversary. Israel issued a new series of coins commemorating historic sites in 1982. Ever mindful of symbolism, Israel made the silver half and 1 shekel, which switched to the new shekel in 1986, and gold 5 shekelim coins on dodecanal planchets to honor the 12 tribes of ancient Israel. The Bank of Israel stopped the series after 1990, but that same year Israel introduced a copper nickel circulating 5 new shekelim, which inherited the 12 sides of the gold sites coin of the same denomination. The base metal 5 shekel still circulates and is the only polygonal trade coin of Israel. This example is a 1-year circulating commemorative honoring Israel's first president, Weizmann, whose portrayal had graced the 5 shekelim banknote of 1980 to 1984. Only the Czech Republic has issued a coin with 13 sides. Czechoslovakia was created out of the defeated Austrian Empire at the end of World War I. Briefly divided into Slovakia and Bohemia und Moravia by Germany's Third Reich, the country was reunited by the Allies after Germany's defeat, only to split apart amicably 4 years after the fall of the Soviet-backed government in 1989. Immediately upon independence, the Czech Republic began issuing a new coinage, including a new trade 10, 20, and 50 crown or korun coins. These coins are only 1.5 millimeters apart in diameter, so the brass-plated steel 20 crowns has 13 sides to make it easier to identify. The obverse portrays the Saint Wenceslaus statue in Prague. Wenceslaus was the Duke of Bohemia from 902 until his murder in 929 while he attended Mass. His remains in the Church of Vitus attracts numerous pilgrims, and he was canonized in 985. Malaysia was founded as an independent kingdom in 1963 out of 14 former British possessions, including 11 provinces on the Malayan Peninsula, Singapore, Sarawak, and Sabah on Borneo. Singapore withdrew in 1965. The first commemorative was issued in 1976 to inaugurate Malaysia's third 5-year plan, and consisted of copper nickel $1 or ringgit, silver $10, and gold $200 coins. They show the Premier Tun Abdul Razak's bust surrounded by the 14 flags of Malaysia, the 13 provinces, and the state itself, hence 14 sides to the coin. Razak became a barrister in England and joined the Malay Civil Service in 1950. In 1955, his alliance party won Malaysia's first general election, and Razak became the education minister. There he promoted a policy of racial harmony and integration. He became deputy premier in 1959 and premier in 1970. He died suddenly of leukemia in 1976, so this coin also honors his memory. The United Arab Emirates are a conglomerate of 7 tribal states on the Persian Gulf that was formed in 1971. and have produced small numbers of circulating coins since 1973. Their only 5 dirhams coin was issued in lunar year 1401 of Muhammad's flight from Mecca, known as the Hijriya. Since it was the first year of the 15th century, the copper nickel coin has a large 15 on the reverse, and the planchet has 15 sides. The 5 of the 15 has a line through it to make it look like the H of Hijriya. And you can also see a small H here. This is their M. So the falcon on the obverse is an Arab symbol, falconry being a popular sport and source of food since before Islam. Arabs capture the raptors during their autumn migration, quickly train them, then release them to migrate in spring before the hot weather kills the birds. This coin was released into circulation, but was widely hoarded. The Caribbean island of Guadeloupe was settled by the French in 1635. Guadeloupe's sugar plantations made it one of the wealthiest Caribbean islands in the 1800s. The only coinage minted specifically for the island were copper nickel 50 centimes and francs, minted in 1903 and 1921, portraying a native bust on the obverse and a palm tree on the reverse. These were introduced the same year nickel coins were first issued for France herself. The French probably used 20-sided planchets to avoid confusion with similarly sized silver coins, which became a moot issue when France abandoned silver coinage after World War I. Yemen has been under a number of rulers in the last century. As foreigners left, Yemen was in 2 sections. North Yemen, dominated by pro-Egyptian forces, and South Yemen, which had been British. In 1990, the 2 Yemens united using the North Yemen coinage system. In 1993, steel 1, 5, and 10 rial coins were issued by the new government. The 1 and 5 rial coins have 21 sides, while the 10 rial is round.
Oh my God.
After adopting the decimal system in 1793, France issued large bronze 10 centimes and tiny silver 20 and 25 centimes coins. France terminated the 25 centimes or quarter franc silver coin in 1848 and the 20 centimes in 1889. Intermediate denominations resumed in 1903 with a pure nickel 25 centimes coin, but the color and size were too close to the silver franc. So for the next 2 years, 1904 to 5, the coin was issued with 22 sides and a slightly modified design. This apparently did not end the confusion, so when a new nickel coinage was introduced in 1914, the 5, 10, 25, and later 20 centimes denominations were issued on round planchets with a central hole. From 1932 to 39, Brazil issued 18 different circulating commemorative coins in denominations ranging from 100 to 5,000 reis. All of these coins were round, except for the Duke of Caxias's 2,000 reis of 1937 to 38, which had 24 sides. Born Luis Silva, he was a general and statesman who fought in Brazil's war for independence in 1823 and later served as a state governor, legislator, and minister of the army. Both round and tetracosagonal planchets were used in 1937 and 38, before a change in design and return to round planchets in 1939. No coins have yet been issued with 25 sides, but to commemorate the Bank of Israel's 25th anniversary in 1979, Israel issued a medal with 25 sides. The reverse shows a panoramic view of Jerusalem, site of the bank's main office. The view was first placed on the Jerusalem Restored Medal of 1969, commissioned by Mayor Teddy Kollek for presentations. The obverse has the main designs of the 7 current circulating coins of 1979, from 1 agora to 5 lirot. These silver medals were only sold or given to bank employees, but some are on the collector's market today. Polygons can be found in nature, such as the hexagonal honeycombs, in religion, as in the octagonal Taoist trigrams and 9-sided Baha'i temple, in sports, such as soccer balls made up of pentagons surrounded by hexagons, and also in architecture. There are lots of polygonal coins to collect, even if you restrict the collection to circulating pieces. You can expand a shape typeset a little by separating the 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12-sided coins to those whose tops are flat, such as squares, versus those whose tops are corners, such as diamonds. There are also plenty of polygonal token issues, including Indian gold bullion from the 1960s, obsidianal coinage, French and German note geld from World War I, and Chinese gambling house tokens made in 19th century Thailand. Are there any questions? All right. Thank you for attending.